Hey, happy Sunday night there, Buffs fans. Alpine Garage Sports, thanks for hanging out with me today. My name is Chris. I'm your host for the show. We're just here just to revel in a couple of things today. The first one is Julian Lewis decommitted from USC. The second is our Utah win, and we're going to pull some game changers out of that, which is what caused us or what helped us to win that Utah game that we can actually carry into Kansas and then into Oklahoma State. And then lastly, just a little bit of discussion about Coach Prime and everything that he's done for the University of Colorado and kind of where we're going from here with him. So, those are the three things, those are the three topics that I wanted to talk about today. And we will actually start with Julian Lewis, Juju. Big deal. I mean, this is a really big deal. We've been waiting for him to decommit from USC because it just seemed like he was just going to ride USC all the way until the end, and then do a classic flip right before signing with another team, preferably Colorado, obviously. But we didn't know when he was going to decommit from USC. And the funny thing about it is that he was visiting Georgia, right? Georgia beat Tennessee. So a lot of people were thinking, I should say a lot of people south of Colorado were thinking that this had something to do with Georgia beating Tennessee, and that maybe he was thinking that maybe the dogs out there were thinking that he was committing to US or that he was committing to Georgia. Uh, Over time, that's what they're thinking right now. But obviously, everybody in the world, it seems like, has come out and said that Juju is actually decommitted from USC because he wants to come to Colorado. Nobody really knows, right? Only Juju knows. But we know, knowing what is in stake, what is at stake for Juju here at Colorado, especially in the run that we are having at this point. I mean, we are having an epic run. Georgia is having an epic run too. They've lost some key games. They've won some key games. They're obviously pretty, I don't want to say solid in the playoff picture right now, but they're getting more and more solid by the day. We have an opportunity to get there as well. We just have to get through a couple of, actually, we have to get three more games, right? We have to beat Kansas, who's on the rise. We have to beat them on the road. But it's in a pro stadium, which I think will benefit us because this gives Shador some like it'll give him some like knowledge of what it's like to play in a big stadium like that in an NFL stadium. I think he's actually going to shine in that game. And then we've got Oklahoma State at home, and I don't want to brush that off and make it seem like it's not a thing because obviously it's a thing. But it's at home and it's Oklahoma State, and it's weird that I'm saying that because I actually thought that that game was going to be one of the hardest games, if not the hardest game of the year. In fact, at the early part of the season, and I'm sure all of us are in the same boat. I mean, Oklahoma State last year looked really hard to beat, and their running back was running really well, and their offense was doing awesome, and their defense were studs, and their defense is still decent, I guess, but coming to coming to Folsom the day after Thanksgiving on the road at altitude. I mean, Oklahoma State Stadium, I want to say, is at 750 feet. We're at 5,360 feet at Folsom. A lot of people downplay altitude, but altitude's a thing, guys. It really is, especially if you're not acclimated to it, and especially if you already are a team that you're kind of behind the times. You're down in the dumps. You're not favored to win. You're coming after a holiday, really. I mean, you spent your holiday on the road essentially, away from everybody, and it's a to me it seems like it's just demoralizing. So I don't think OSU is a big issue for us. And then we go to the Big 12 championship game. People are throwing the likes of Arizona State in there. I still think it's going to be BYU CU. BYU showing that they could get beat the last 2 weeks, obviously. The week before, they didn't get beat, but they could have, by a team that we beat pretty handily. And then last week, they obviously lost. So This is going to be a big deal. If we beat Kansas State, when we beat Kansas State next week, this is going to solidify because we beat Kansas State after Kansas State beat BYU. And we are going to, at that point, I think, have the edge against BYU, showing that we have what it takes in order to really jump into the playoffs with both feet. You know, there's a lot to do at this point, right? Now, let's go back to JuJu, right? So now we know that JuJu is looking at us pretty seriously. All eyes are on Colorado right now. Everybody knows that. It's a big deal. There isn't anyone in the country that doesn't understand or know that Coach Prime is a coach of our team, that our team went from being the laughing stock of college football, the laughing stock of the P5, I should say, to being somebody that, to being a team that everybody recognizes as this is officially, with an asterisk on it, okay? Officially meaning, with the asterisk meaning that the season's not done yet, but officially a success, right? It has been. We got to 6 wins this year. I think that was Coach Prime's original goal, was get Miss Peggy to a bowl, get Colorado to a bowl game for the, you know, for the longest time, not counting COVID. And he did that. And then now it's like, okay, you get past that hurdle and it's like, okay, what else can we do? We're on a roll. We could potentially hit the Big 12 championship. We need some divine help, and we got it. And Coach Prime is one of the only guys out there that could get that divine help without even breathing. And we got that, and the teams that were in front of us started to fall, and they're all falling. Well, we're getting stronger, they're getting weaker. And that is divine intervention. We didn't have anything to do with that. Hang on 1 second, guys. Hang on. I'm gonna reach out to you there. Here we go. And divine intervention. So we're there. But JuJu sees all of this. JuJu sees this. He sees Georgia in and out and up and down. And Georgia, you know, with the, but boy, I don't really want to even go into this too much because I like Georgia as a team. You know, I was a big Herschel Walker fan growing up. And, you know, I say I like them. I don't hate Georgia, right? I don't hate Georgia. I actually kind of like Georgia. I don't think that Georgia, by any stretch of the imagination, is the same program that Colorado has right now. You know, it seems, I don't know, from an outsider's perspective, and maybe you Georgians that are in this chat can maybe tell me a little bit different, but it seems to be a little bit more impersonal than Colorado is. I mean, Colorado is a much smaller school. It's a much smaller stadium. The football program doesn't have, you know, the same heritage that Georgia does. And so when you throw in Coach Prime and all the newness and all the light and all the shine on the program, it just seems like Julian can come in here, JuJu can come in here, and his handlers, the folks that are giving him advice, are saying, you could do something at the University of Colorado. Shedeur is going to make his mark this year, right? You could come in right behind Shedeur. Shedeur is going to go into the league and he's going to make a huge name for himself. You could literally be the protege to one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in college football. Certainly the greatest or one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play at Colorado. You know, that's a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me, but I'm going to say the greatest or one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play for the University of Colorado. Just absolutely came in and took it over, right? Julian could, like, that picture with him taking the keys from him, I mean, it's literally that. It's literally, he could come in and we're going to get to the playoff or whatever it is this year, let's say, you know. Julian could take us even further, right? Coach Prime's building his legacy here. He's building a program at the University of Colorado. And this is going to continue in the new era of NIL and the transfer portal and paying players and all of this stuff that's going on. Coach Prime is writing the book for future coaches to come in the league and figure all of this newness out. You know, the coaches that have been here in the past did a great job. You know, they did a great job building programs the way that they built programs. That's gone now. You got to have ingenuity. You got to understand the programs. You got to be able to be light on your feet, be able to make decisions quickly. You got to be able to turn things over when they're not right and make things right again. JuJu sees that. I know JuJu sees that. And he knows that coming to the University of Colorado is going to be the right thing for him. And so his decommitment from USC has got to be 100% the fact that we are just Colorado steamrolling. It's steamrolling towards the Big 12 championship. And he sees that. He sees USC going down. He sees everything falling out. It's really hard for me to look at Lincoln Riley right now. And I have a great admiration for Lincoln Riley and what he did at OU. I don't think that he did very much at USC, right? Now, he put a quarterback in the league, quarterback that was probably going to go to the league anyway, brought him from Oklahoma. But he's going to have to start all over again. This new program with the portal and everything, he's got to be able to figure this out. USC is a great market. They will rebuild and they will be better, but it's not going to be with JuJu. And JuJu knows that. He's a little he's probably 3 years behind where USC was probably at its prime, right? So, but Colorado's burgeoning, and he could be right there. Shedeur gets us right to the precipice, and then Julian comes in and presses us through. And this is kind of exactly where he needs to be. And I just see him coming here, and it's never been more clear than right now. It's never been more clear than tonight that JuJu is the man for Colorado. When I was on the sideline a couple of games ago when he was up there, which is where the thumbnail came from, actually. I was standing right on the sideline there in the stadium, and he was wearing his kind of his bright pink hoodie, which kind of throws back to Alpine Sports, right? No, he didn't do that stuff, but when just looking at him, just looking at his presence and the respect that people gave him, and the respect that the players gave him and the coaches gave him, you could tell that he fits in this program like he was born here. And I got to watch it for probably 45 minutes. And unlike any other recruit that was there or anybody else that was on the field, he was the center of attention, and he got that attention. And you could tell that he reveled in it. That was just my personal opinion on what I saw. But I must have taken 40 minutes of 45 minutes of my video was just on JuJu. I wanted to see the interactions that he had with the players and everything. So just an amazing decommit. I know I put Flip in there, and what I mean by that is that I truly believe he's coming to Colorado. I know that Georgia is out there playing, and I know that Indiana's out there playing. And JuJu's got to do his thing. He's a marketable guy, and just like any other good college athlete right now, you got to play that. You got to figure out where your best opportunities are. And so, gone are the days where you would maybe even sit back and say, these kids are selfish and they should just stick to a school, and this commitment flipping thing is kind of ridiculous. And anything that you want to say 2 years ago, let's say, that a lot of us were saying, now you realize that it's not like that anymore. I mean, if it were any one of us, if it were me, if it were you, and we had opportunities out there to go take advantage of, we would do everything we can to take advantage of every opportunity we could take advantage of. Visit every school, take advantage of every experience that's out there, right? You never know who you're going to run into that's going to change your life. Well, that's the case. You meet Coach Prime. Nobody has a bigger personality. Nobody has a bigger reach. Nobody has a bigger ability to plan your future than Coach Prime does. And JuJu, I know, sees that, obviously. I mean, obviously, all of us see that. So I just wanted to jump on here and say that. When he gets here, it's going to be like, we're all going to be bummed that Shedeur is leaving. We're all going to be bummed that Travis is leaving. We're all going to be bummed that quite a few other guys are going to be leaving. But Coach Prime has already shown that he can go to the portal, he can recruit, and he can fill these vacancies with even, I would say, as good or even better athletes. And I don't even want to talk about what's going to happen to our coaching staff, because after this year, every coach on our roster is going to be the hottest thing since, I don't know, let's figure out something that an old guy would say, like even bigger than sliced bread, right? So that would be a good analogy right there. They're going to be hot. So we're going to lose a few of them probably. We can't pay everybody to be a head coach, right? So they're going to go and they're going to be head coaches in some cases, and we're going to be proud of them. Coach Prime is building his coaching tree, and that's really what his legacy is what his legacy is. I mean, you can't get a bigger legacy than he has. Well, guess what? You're going to put 5 to 10 head coaches in the NCAA and NFL, and then now you have just expanded your legacy again, right? You're going to put coaches that are on our team now. They're going to be coaching P5 schools in 2-3 years, let's say, and it's going to be very much like Saban and Dabo and those guys, where they're building their trees, and then they're getting people out into college football to make college football better, and this is a great deal. That is what I've got to say about JuJu. Just super, super excited. Let me see who's in here. Shirley is in here, says hello, everybody. Ray is in here, says what's up, Sco Buffs. Jennifer, you are always a pleasure to have on this live stream. Dennis is in here. Are we nervous about Kansas after they beat BYU? Wow, Dennis, that's for another day, man. Am I nervous about Kansas? I don't think I am. Seeing what we did to Utah in this game, not playing our best game, specifically on offense, I don't. Now, if we can fix some of the offensive things, which we're going to go into in the second part of this live, I'm about to go into that after we do some chat here. We're going to go into some things that were really good in this game, the things that won us this game, and then the things that we may need to clean up in order to really beat the likes of Kansas, who is burgeoning, and BYU, who is a pretty solid team, even though they were beat last week. But past that, really, when you hear me talk about, the things that we need to fix, these aren't things that are, just mine. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees it. The coaches see it. Everybody sees it. I'm just bringing it to you so that we can talk about it, right? So we're going to talk about those things. But when we go to the playoff, we're going to have to fix these things in order to increase our odds of winning in there. Because when we get to the playoffs, getting to the playoffs is cool. That's going to be really awesome, and that's going to be a big check mark, right? But there's no reason with what we have going on here, the aptitude of Coach Prime and the coaches that we have on our team right now. I mean, they've really solidified a lot of parts of our game, right? And the players are playing lights out right now. A lot of the players are just really doing everything they can to get a win. And it doesn't all come together at the same time, but you can see it starting to pull together, right? When we get to the playoffs, we got to be hitting on more cylinders, right? We're going to go into that. So Ray, Uncle Buck says, Ray's in the house. Ray says, Kansas scares me. It scares me. The team is no joke, and we have to get out there and play. We do. And we're going to be playing on the road, too, so that makes it a little bit harder. Let's see. Jennifer says, Ray, think of how you feel when we win at Kansas. Right. Because then we got Oklahoma State at home, right? Is that an easy game? Somebody tell me. Arrowhead means a lot of CU fans. That's right. It's not a far trip. I spent a lot of time in that stadium in Big 12 championships, actually. So oddly enough, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be an amazing feeling, Ray says. Ron says, I believe it when I see it. Fiesta Bowl, here we come. Number 4 seed. Yes. Kansas is terrible. So it's a 50-50. I think that's what I've seen in a lot of chats and a lot of other lives, is that 50% of the people, Kansas looks good, and the other 50%, they came up and they stabbed BYU, and BYU is looking. So, we shouldn't worry about them too much. CUS SEC talent. A lot of positions we do. Absolutely. Linebacker, SEC talent, right? Wide receiver, SEC talent. Quarterback, SEC talent. I say that. We're Big 12, man. We're better than the SEC. Why did I just say that? True freshman Miller with JuJu. So hold on a second to that, because Uncle Buck, you just hit pay dirt. I have a graphic coming up that's going to talk about that a little bit more. It'll be hard to keep Robert Livingston. He'll get a lot. Robert Livingston, he has pro experience. Depending on how far we go in this run, he'll have playoff experience in college in his first year, and turning around a defense that was pretty rough last year, right? You're right. It's going to be hard to keep him. He's going to be a head coach at some point. Is he going to be a head coach next year? I don't know. Does he want to stay with Coach Prime one more year? See this JuJu thing out? See a lot of the commitments we have coming in? Who knows? But at this point, we just got to hold on to him, and we got to understand that we have some more business to take care of. And having Robert Livingston here was an absolute pleasure. And then Tom DeMay says Kansas ain't nothing to worry about. Burl is in the house. Burl is my friend who he challenges me a lot in the comments, and I appreciate that. Colorado won't lose any coaches because Prime and Rick will pay the price to keep them together. Prime doesn't just build coaching staff; he builds family. So Burl and I go back and forth a lot, and I really respect what Burl has to say. The problem, Burl, is that we can't pay head coaching salaries to coordinators. We're not that school yet, and these guys are going to be making, they're going to be getting $3, $4, $5 million offers at colleges potentially, and we just can't pay everybody that amount of money, right? Would you get a pay bump if you stayed as a coordinator? Sure, you might get another $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 maybe. But you're talking millions difference between an OCDC and a head coach at a P5, P4 organization. So we could pay them, but I don't know that we could pay them. It's not like for like, is what I'm saying. It's not like for like. When you're going up in position, it's really hard to keep your pay at the lower position, is what I'm saying. Although it's basically a neutral site game, never underestimate your opponent. True. It is a neutral site game. We are on the road, though. I guess we're both on the road, but we are more on the road. But I guess that doesn't matter. BYU said that about Kansas also. Dante S. says the D-line is the best unit, even players from last year. I agree. The D-line is like, man, our D-line and our linebackers, that solid group right there in the center, they're doing such a freaking fantastic job this year. Just unbelievable. And they're coached extremely well. A lot of NIL dollars available on Travis and Shaduragon. That's true. Hopefully we can get that to some players that can make a big difference for us like they do. Why do you guys drive them out of here? What? Kevin, what? Who says he wants more money? Who says who wants more money? I don't know. Okay, let's talk about now. Let's go into the stats for let's go into the Utah game. What is it about the Utah game? Throw up in the comments here. I'm watching the comments, guys. I'm going to hit them as you go, okay? Burrow's got another comment up here. Let's see before I go to this next thing. Chris, everyone is not cut out to be a head coach. Some people are just great at being coordinators. That's true. I do feel that both our OC and our DC, I think they have I think they're head coaching material. I'm not arguing with you, Burrow. I'm really not. I think that I understand 100% of what you're saying, and hopefully, and I pray that you are correct, because if we can keep those guys here for a while, Pat Shurmur's obviously growing on me. Although I will say this, between the two of them, Livingston to me, man, I don't think I've said anything about Livingston or Livingston's defense that is, what's the word I want to say? Constructive in nature. Okay, I don't want to say critical because I'm not trying to be critical about anything, but I haven't really said much because the defense has shown up every game, and we've won a lot of our games because our defense showed up. I think we won this last game because our defense showed up. I think we definitely won the game before because our defense showed up, right? So Livingston, to me, of the two, I think is showing his best light right now, especially considering the defense that we had last year. So that said, Pat Shurmur, I'm a Bronco fan again. Grew up in the Southwest, Broncos, Cowboys, and the Pat Shurmur to me, even though he was ostracized in Denver, I never really had any ill will towards him for whatever reason. I never thought that. I guess I never wanted to put blame on any one person in that organization at that time, because there was a whole lot of stuff going on in the Broncos at that time. It wasn't just him. Coming to Colorado last year and being the co-OC, I thought was a bad decision. I thought that, someone's got to be in charge. And when you start splitting responsibilities like that, it makes it very hard for anyone to assume responsibility and take ownership of the program. So now that we are just with Pat Shurmur and we're seeing the offense, I feel a lot more comfortable about Pat Shermer. Now, have I been critical of the play calling? I have. Have I been critical of at times, have I been critical of the formations that we're running and the lack of creativity in the running game and, all these things? Yes, I have. I have at times been like that because in my heart, I know that we have more from our offense than we're showing right now. We have the best quarterback in college football, some of the best receivers in college football. We also have great tight ends that we're rarely using, and we have great running backs that we are not setting up for success in some cases. So when I say, Pat Shermer, I have no ill will towards Pat Shermer. I'm 100% sticking to that. I really don't. I understand the things that are playing out at Colorado. More and more every game we go, it becomes more and more evident to me that you can't make a turtle into a rabbit, right? Or you can't make a rabbit into a coyote or whatever. I don't even know the scenarios I'm talking about here, but you can't make something turn into something else overnight. And we have a specific style of offense and it works for us. So we're going to continue to ride that until next year. And then who knows what's going to happen. It depends on who our quarterback is, what our line looks like, who our running backs are going to be, who our tight ends are going to be. If Pat Shermer stays or doesn't stay, I don't know. All of that is going to change for next year. But this year we have what we have, right? So now let's go into I'm going to go through your comments on Pat Shermer, guys. I promise. At the end of this, I will go through your comments on Pat Shermer. I promise. Okay. I'm going to run through here. I'm going to start marking some stuff here so I can see. Ed, you have a good one there. I'm going to mark that. Okay. Now let's talk about the awesomeness that we have that came out of the Utah game. Okay. Let me share my screen here really, really fast. Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me find this layer here. All right. So these are my game changers for this last Utah game. 3 passing and 3 rushing TDs. So now I notice I didn't talk too much about the rushing in this game leading up to this because we only ran for whatever it was, 65 yards. I don't even remember. But that's about right. I think we're right about there. 65 yards. So it wasn't a lot. But when we were coming down to the end zone, we ran the ball. And one of those was Isaiah taking it upon himself to just be an absolute freaking stud of a man and plowing through everybody like we knew he could do. And we finally pulled off a big run touchdown. And I was coming back from the bathroom and when he was doing that, and I about fell down the stairs, man. I could not believe it. But yeah, that's a 50-50 rushing, passing TD split, which is something that is really cool because that shows future offenses that we're going to be going against that we are not one-trick ponies, especially when we get down into the red zone. Okay, so to me, that is a very, very big deal. Now, second thing, 2 for 2 on 4th downs. 2 for 2 on 4th downs. That to me is a stat that we need to talk about. I don't want to talk about the stat on 3rd downs because 3rd downs were very tough for us. I think we were 3 for 12 or something like that. Really not good. Really not good. But on 4th down, we were money, and we needed to be in that game in some cases, and we were. That is, Coach Prime had confidence in Shedeur and the offensive coordinator and the line, and we showed what we could do when it really needed to be done. 2 for 2 on 4th downs. Number 3, Draylon Miller, 108 yards. True freshman, been showing up in a lot of games this year, really being a big stud for us. And we knew he was going to be, maybe not right now, but we knew he was going to be in the future. But this guy is showing up in year 1. And somebody brought up JuJu and Draylon Miller combo. And he just in this chat just a few minutes ago, I can't remember who it was. I'll bring you up here in a minute. But that to me seems like a magical combination. Draylon is showing his ability to do everything. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's out on screens. I've seen him block. I mean, I really like this guy. He is doing a great job for us. And every time he gets in the game, I am super excited. Number 4, special teams. Our special teams play yesterday was undeniably good. In the last few games, defense and special teams has really, really pulled a big, big part of our win. Wester on that punt return for a touchdown, just an amazing run going right up the middle. I was proud of him not going around, going around the side and headed towards the sideline. He did it old school primetime style and went straight up the middle. It's almost like he was coached to do that. It was just unbelievable. And then we were kicking it for a touchback in the end zone a few more times than we normally do. I mean, things are coming together in the special teams. And when you see when you see that happening, coaching is the reason. Our coaches are really getting it done here. And number 5, let's see, what did I put here? Burrow. I am so sorry, buddy. Hang on one second. Let me hide this. 4 sacks and 3 interceptions. That is Cameron Silman-Craig. That is Nakai Hill-Green and DJ McKinney all had interceptions during that game. And then obviously Travis did as well. We're going to count that one in this program, even though it got called back. Our defense is swarming and it looks really good out there. And I know that Kansas is going to have a big, big problem when they're trying to air the ball out against this defense. And 4 sacks, that line is just incredible. Who wants to tell me about how this line is? This line is incredible. This defensive line in the trenches, they're getting to the quarterback. We had so many quarterback pressures, I couldn't even keep count of them. And then number 6, and we have to say this, Charlie got his first touchdown. And everybody celebrated. You saw the team celebrate it. I mean, it was a big deal. We were screaming in the stands. Everybody around us was screaming. And it looked like they celebrated that for a really long time. And the graphic that came out of that is just stupendous. For those of us who have been around this program for a while and have seen some of our players that are still here that started before Coach Prime came and wanted to stay and prove their worth to a new coach. And that new coach to see the possibilities in these guys and develop them and turn them into even better players and then give them their opportunity to shine. We wanted, Charlie already has a walk-on rushing record for the University of Colorado, and now he's got a TD to show that he has what it takes. And that run was no slouch of a run. That was a great run. And then on the next play, he was part of probably one of the greatest plays to ever happen at the University of Colorado with that touchdown on the reverse to Travis Hunter. And all the grief that came out of Shedeur on that one was really funny. I enjoyed that one a lot. That was a lot of fun. But those were all of the, not even all of them. There's so many good things about that game. We could go into, and if you want me to go into a little bit of kind of how I'm feeling about what we need to do going forward in these next games, it's going to be very much similar to what we've been talking about for 2 years on offense. I think establishing the run a little bit more, getting 130 to 150 yards against these next 2 teams, really letting the offensive line stretch themselves a little bit, using different formations, getting a little bit more power in the formations. 11, 12, 21 personnel, something like that. Use the tight ends a little bit more. Savell Smalls has been genius. I mean, every time we've thrown in the ball, he's caught it. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that, guys. I mean, he's like dang near 100%. I'm going to look that stat up at some point. But if we got him involved a little bit more, not that we need to because our wide receivers are so good, but just to when we get into the playoffs, just to give us a little bit more dimension, the ability to give us a little bit more dimension. If for some reason they shut us down in the wide receiver game, to have that tight end in there makes a big difference. That's why almost every pro team has a world-class tight end, because you have the best corners in the world playing in the NFL, right? So when we get to those playoffs, we're going to be playing against some really good secondaries. And that gives us that one little dimension, right? The running game, obviously, you guys know this, running game burns clock. It burns clock. It wears defenses out. It allows the offensive line to stretch out a little bit. They're not having to run around as much blocking. They can just run straight forward, plop people over, pancake people, whatever they have to do, and get their mojo on. And it's a real, I think, to me, I'm not an offensive lineman, never was. I was a defensive lineman when I was younger. But offensive linemen, the offensive linemen that I knew, they love to block in the run game, just because it was more physical that way. So, if you wanted to pull out a couple more things, Shedeur holding on to the ball too long, sure, we know that. They were talking about that on a couple of the really big college football shows today, as far as his, what am I going to say here, his marketing to the NFL. One of the things that the scouts are saying that they would really like to see is his ability to make quicker reads and not really hang out in the pocket as long, right? So we know that, he knows that, everybody knows that. This isn't anything that you're learning on this show. But, if that was something that we could fix, I think it would be an easy fix. That's where the run game comes in. That's where the tight end play comes in. Those two things right there solidify his not having to get hit or scramble on every single play, right? So not every single play, but a lot of plays, which seems like that happened. In this game, if we were to pull one thing out, the offense did not look really super sharp, but the offense did what it needed to do. And we had players like, what was it, Shepard? Holy crap, Shepard. Why didn't I bring Shepard up in this whole thing? He has come light years in just a few games. I mean, he was great to begin with, but we knew that he had a little bit of a hands issue with dropping some balls from Shedeur. But lately, dude, that guy is absolutely amazing. Those 2 touchdown passes that he caught, both of them were spectacular. Like they were something that he would be proud to put in his highlight reel as the lead of his highlight reel, because they were that good. He is becoming a very physical wide receiver here. And it is a pleasure to see him do that. Everybody knew that he had the potential, and we knew it was going to show, and it's starting to show. And that is a difference maker for us right there, guys. So, that's all I've got to say about that. Let's go to the comments again, and I'm going to pull out some of your comments that you had earlier about the OC and the D line and things like that. So let's see. Let me see here. Someone said, all right, let's get into this one. Shedeur have played in the NFL stadiums before. It wouldn't be anything new to him. That's true. But what I'm saying is that when he has the ability to play in NFL stadiums, it's a bigger stage. And I think that he plays to the stage like that. I think he will absolutely decimate Kansas. I haven't given that prediction yet, but I have a feeling in my heart this is going to be even bigger than, I was calling the Utah game at 52-24. It ended up at 49-24, so I missed it by a field goal. But I honestly think Kansas could be bigger than that. I really do. Pardon me, guys. Now, both are excellent coaches. Thinking Man says Livingston is going to get paid. He should. He tried. He has done remarkable things for us, right? The game plan for this game should be the same as just about every Big 12 team. Stop the run, but with Kansas, you have to stop the QB and running back from running. I looked at the Kansas BYU game, nothing special. Yeah, there wasn't anything that stood out for me either, Ed, and I totally agree with that. If this were last year, I would really think that we would have a hard time beating Kansas in this game. But this year, with the defense that we have right now, I honestly don't, I don't feel that worried about it. Maybe I should be more worried about it, but I'm not. Let's go down to the end here. Kevin says Prime isn't leaving. I don't even know what that is. Sorry, Kevin. Do you think JuJu will surprise us on Tuesday? I don't know. It would be fun if he did. I don't know. In my heart, maybe I'm thinking that JuJu, he's waited this long to decommit from USC, even though USC has been, basically a bomb for the better 3 quarters of this year. But he hung on. He hung on, and I think he did that because I don't. I think Juju's smart enough to know you don't want to change a ton, right? You don't want to just get a commitment, drop a commitment, get a commitment, drop a commitment. Let's create some steadiness here. Let's let people try to pull you away. Let's draw some attention, and then when it's time to decommit, which is a good time at the end of the season, right? To decommit, and then all of these teams that are vying for championships are, having a tough time. It's a big. We're everybody's eating everybody in every division. I mean, even the SEC is eating each other right now, and so they're looking for the next big thing, and Juju is the next big thing. So I think he's playing it really smart. If he were to commit to Colorado on Tuesday, I'm just going to say I'm surprised. I would be surprised just because he doesn't have to right now, and there's still lots of time and lots of games to play. And he's in the catbird seat right now. He's got this thing. So that's what I have to say about that. I could be wrong. Vegas has 30 million in dead money. True. Las Vegas. So you think Shadur's going to Las Vegas? If Prime left, someone suggested who would Livingston if Prime left, as someone suggested, who would Livingston coach? I don't know. Prime isn't leaving. I don't think Prime is leaving either. Dion is king of Boulder. Dion won't leave. He says he's always been good. Stop it. Jermaine. So I guess I missed in here. You guys were talking about Coach Prime leaving? Livingston will take over after Prime leaves? Oh, okay. Maybe that's where that started. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, guys. When my first video was is Coach Prime. My first video on this channel was is Coach Prime good for CU? Is Coach Prime right for CU? And we came to the determination that we really need him, and more like we don't need a new coach as much as we need Coach Prime. And it turned out obviously that he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he came in here and he changed the culture, he changed our fortunes, and he said he was going to stay. I've said a few times in there that I think he's here 3 years and then he's out and going to coach if he's successful, which obviously he is now, and that he may go to an NFL team or maybe go to a team like, I don't even want to say things, but like, I'm not even going to say it. I got a couple of schools in my head, but I'm not going to say it. But the more time goes on, the more I see his fondness for Colorado Boulder, what he can do here, the platform that he has, everything that he's done to create what he's got here. And I really think that the school is endeared to him, and this area is endeared to him. I know Dallas is his home. Obviously, I think we all know that. But lots of people have lots of homes. And, I like Dallas a lot. And I obviously love Colorado. And I can see the attraction to both. And I think that, the dynamics in both are completely different. And so he has the ability to have everything he wants here and everything he wants in Dallas all at the same time. And when he's not here, he's in Dallas. When he's not in Dallas, he's here. It's not very far. It's a quick flight. Everybody, I don't see any reason for him to leave now. I really don't. I mean, money is a good thing, and we'll end up paying him money. I don't know that we could pay 10 or 12 or 14 million dollars, but we'll pay him. And I don't know that he needs 10 or 14 or 16 million dollars right now. Not right now. He's getting paid. He's getting paid. I don't outside of his contract here, he's getting paid. That's all I gotta say. I don't think that his contract with the University of Colorado is the thing that's keeping him here. I think his love for Colorado, what he's done here, he sees the future. He knows what he can do. He can build this school into something. Whereas if you go to Georgia or you go to Florida State or something like that, those schools are already built. They've already been successful. They've already won natties. They've already done the things that you do to make a college popular and big. Those things have already been done. We have not done those things. We won a national championship right here, right? We won a national championship, but we haven't done it in, probably in most people's lifetimes at this point. Certainly in the students that are at CU, haven't done it in their lifetimes. So now is the time that he can come in, and we can win several natties, let's say. Okay, we can build Folsom up a little bit, although I don't want to get it too big because it's just not that big a city, guys. And bring even more notoriety than has already been given to Boulder. I mean, Boulder's a sleepy town. It was a sleepy town after Mork and Mindy left, right? But then and then we had that little blurb in the 90s right there, that 10-year span where we were hot again. And then we went to sleep. And cities around Boulder built up and became these huge areas. And Boulder just kind of stayed Boulder, didn't really grow huge amounts. Now with Coach Prime here, it's blown up again. And good, because it's a great place. People need to see this place. People have come out. I met a lot of people in this last game that absolutely were just over the moon at how beautiful the area was. So I'm just so happy that people are getting to see this. It's just that is something that makes me very, very happy. Now let's go. And then, I was going to go into Coach Prime and what he's done for Colorado at this point, but I think I just said it. I think that's what I just said. I am so appreciative of Coach Prime. When he got here, the first thing I did was I went out and I got my University of Colorado license plate changed to Prime 21 because, something told me that, and I think it was the same in all of us, right? That when you have somebody to the caliber of Coach Prime, that special things are going to happen. We knew we were going to win more. That's obvious. But something else was going to happen, and something else did happen. What happened was we became somebody. Colorado became somebody because of Coach Prime and what he's been able to bring to this university and all of the light that he's been able to shine on this university and all of the joy that he's brought to all of us fans, being out there at Big Noon Kickoff this last weekend. It was absolutely amazing. It was very similar to last year, but different in the fact that it's almost like we've been here, we've done that, it's really weird. It was surreal last year. It was like, oh my gosh, let's hold on to this as long as we can. And then this year it's like, this is just the beginning. Like they're going to have to, I think I made a comment on Twitter that, and I was talking to one of the Fox guys out there, and it seems like they should probably build their corporate offices or a corporate office in Boulder or in Broomfield or something like that. Fox should, because they're going to be out here a lot over Prime's legacy here. They're going to be out here like 3, 4 times, 5 times a year. They might as well just build an office here, right? Have people house out of here. It's a great community. I mean, great lifestyle, working out here, living out here. I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to do that, right? I'm sure if I called up to Fox headquarters and I talked to everybody at Fox, and Joel Klatt and those guys, Joel Klatt could probably talk everybody into moving down here, because there's just no lifestyle like this lifestyle. I can guarantee you there is no lifestyle like this lifestyle. So they're going to come out here. Let's build them an office. Let's get them out here, and then they can just literally have a permanent pop-up built on campus for the next 5 years if we want to, right? And have even more light shed on the University of Colorado because Coach Prime was here. I could go into this for another 4 or 5 hours, guys, because it's a dream come true for me. It's a dream come true for a lot of you too, as well. And I can't be more appreciative to him and his family and the coaches that came. Gave Coach Prime. They said, "Hey, you're my buddy. I know you got what I need to do as a coach." Let's say, Sapp, for instance, right? Sapp wasn't a coach before he got here, but in his head, he's got a football in his brain, right? I mean, he knows more about football, especially on the line, than almost any other, especially a defensive line, than any other human on earth. Why not give him the ability to coach and bring him to the University of Colorado and let him unleash everything that he did as a player on his players here, and let him do his thing. And Coach Prime just, is that guy. You give him a shot, and then that gives us more notoriety because a lot of our coaches have that NFL experience, gold jacket experience, and that makes recruiting all that much better. I mean, I could go into it over and over again. I'm going to keep rambling on if I keep doing this because I just can't. I can't put it into words, guys. I'm really sorry. What else have you guys got to say here? Miss TN says that is money made from here, though he will not underpay himself because he's rich already. What other coaches would do that? No, I agree. I agree. He knows his value, but he also understands what the University of Colorado can do, and University of Colorado is the ability for them to pay a high end coach is getting better, right? That revenue is coming in. The other sports are really pulling their weight too, because we won a national championship last year in other sports, and in basketball we did extremely well, both in women's and men's. Soccer teams are doing well. Cross teams are doing well. Just sports overall are doing extremely well for the University of Colorado. Our enrollment is up, and we're kind of building out in the university a little bit. We're expanding a little bit. There's new development going on in Boulder. Could be obviously because Coach Prime came here and is almost stipending the economy without actually stipending the economy. Just him being here is a stipend to the economy. So yes, in time, maybe not next year, but in time, he will be able to be paid what he is worth compared to other coaches in the market. I really do. But I also think that he is a patient man. He really respects Rick George and the university, and he's willing to make it work with them. And I don't know. I don't know Coach Prime. I feel that from him though, because he seems like he's just a good guy who knows what he wants, and he's willing to do what he needs to do in order to get what he wants. And sometimes that means patience. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end of this year what happens. Let's see. Miss TN says that was the first year, Kevin, with all that money about to come in, success from his year wouldn't get what he's worth. Clip says he will get a contract extension and start getting paid at least $10 million a year. And with his endorsements, Prime isn't worried about a bag at CU. $10 million's double his, a little bit less than double his current salary. But would he be worth that? I think he would. We haven't really, we've gone to a bowl now, right? Because we have a bowl. We're vying for a Big 12 championship. We haven't gotten there yet. And then we're going to go into the playoff. Haven't gotten there yet. But let's say all of that plays out like I think it will. Like all of us think it will. At that point in 2 years, getting to that point, especially with the turmoil that's going on in college football right now, I mean, next year, the portal is going to be insane. Actually, I should say this year, the portal is going to be absolutely insane. Like every university, it seems like, is going to be flipping their entire roster like we did the last 2 years. And I think we actually stand a chance on retaining our good players. So we actually have really flipped this thing. I say we have. Coach Prime has. So worth $10 million? Yes. Who is he? Let's see. Who he is at CU is payment and influence payment. That's right. Kevin says he's not being underpaid. And there's a whole lot of payment stuff in there, guys. Well, what I want to say to you guys is this. I'm going to be going live again. It'll probably be Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the Kansas game and what that looks like. Plus, by then, we'll have the CFP picture refreshed because that comes out Tuesday evening. So we'll be able to see what that looks like. Colorado is going to be, right at around 16 or so, which is where it's at now. And an at-large bid at this point doesn't look like much of anything that's going to happen. So really, it doesn't matter where we're ranked. But it does in the fact that, being number 16 in the country in year 2 of a rebuild, at the end of the season, right? We're not even talking beginning of the season. We're talking about the end of the season, guys. This is a big deal. This is a feather in Coach Prime's cap and everybody else that has come along to help us get to where we're at. That is a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. Please subscribe if you already haven't. Leave a comment down below, and we will see you in the next video.